grab your freaking beverages because we have a book to talk about. Also, please excuse the mattress. I am washing my sheets and I tried to try an experiment to see if it's easier to put the sheets on if the mattress is sideways first, and then I put them on and then I tilt it and then do the other side. So, experiment in progress, just ignore the mattress. It's not there. But grab your beverages because we gotta chat about this book. I read it cover to cover on Friday. Sorry, that was just instinct. Oh, okay. Also, gotta show you my sweater vest. I don't know if you guys remembered I was working on this. This is inside out. Let me put it right side out. I haven't done all the little weaving ends in yet, but this is my oversized sweater vest. I put it on and I'm definitely going to need to block it because the shoulders just kind of stick out. Right now I'm hoping blocking will help them calm down a little bit. And I need to weave the ends in. I saw on the gram somebody who was using a felting needle or felting tool to weave their ends in, and I want to try that. Also, I was doing the side today, like doing the last side, and I'm using, just a normal like embroidery needle, and my eczema almost immediately like popped out there. So I'm gonna have to get a plastic needle if I decide to do an embroidery needle, or if I'm gonna get a felting tool, then one with a handle that like I can touch and I'm not allergic to, because I'm allergic to nickel or something. Anyway, super happy with my sweater vest, but that's not why we're here. We are here to talk about Uprooted by Naomi Novik. I will put the cover somewhere so that you guys can see it. So like I said, I was reading it on Friday. I started it maybe noon, and I read for like 6 hours. And then I had to stop and take my shower because my friend was coming over, and it was a struggle. Like, I was reading it while I was brushing my hair to get in the shower. I was like really focused on the book. So good. Where do I start? Oh, and then I finished it that night. Not too late. I was only up to like 10:30, maybe 11:30, but I definitely would have stayed up as long as it took to read the book. So, like I said, Naomi Novik, which incidentally you may remember is the same author as His Majesty's Dragon, which I was reading and I really liked the first couple chapters and then it went downhill after that. Well, this book was obviously way better. Uprooted is actually about some towns in a fictional country, fictional world, whatever. And nearby the town that she lives in is the wood, okay? And the wood, I feel like I should like have a da-da sound every time that I say the wood. So it actually corrupts people. It's called like getting corrupted, etc. Basically, you know those like the fungus that grow in ants' heads or whatever, in bugs' heads, or oh, there was that movie about it, cordyceps. It's sort of like that. It doesn't animate them once they're dead, but basically it's a bacteria or something gets into your body, changes you, you start being really mean to people, starting to try and kill people. You die from the corruption, and spores of it or like contagion from it, whether it's a bacteria, mushroom, like whatever. It's more of a bacteria than a mushroom, but like that's the vibe. Is it passes on to a person, an animal, anything living can get it. If your plants are corrupted, then you can't eat the food. Like your harvest is gone if it's corrupted, because then you will die from the corruption. So they live near this place called the Wood. Oh, and where there's a bunch of corruption, like if it takes over a village or whatever, the Wood will plant a new heart tree and take over that space. So the Wood is constantly trying to expand. But in order to fight that corruption, the wizard, so this is the feudal system, basically. There's a wizard named the Dragon, and his real name is like, I don't know, it's something that means dragon. Starts with an S. There were several S names in the book, so I do not remember. So the dragon is a wizard that is basically the lord of this particular area. And every 10 years, he takes a 17-year-old girl from the villages in the area to live with him in this tower where he is pretty much alone and basically be a maid. We don't really know why. There are rumors that like he sleeps with them. But every time, so whatever girl is chosen, so all the girls who are 17 years old that year are basically up to be taken. And then he comes and he chooses one to come back with him. And whatever happens to that girl, she lives in the tower for 10 years. That's why every 10 years he switches girls, right? She lives in the castle for 10 years, and then he gives her a bag of like silver that could be her dowry or whatever, and then she moves away. She doesn't go back to live with her parents ever. None of these girls ever go back to live with their parents. They go somewhere else. Maybe they marry someone from somewhere else. Maybe they have a profession where, they go somewhere else and have a profession. But none of them ever go back home. And that's kind of what's weird about it. Is like, what is he doing to them that they don't ever go back home again? Like they'll visit home for a little while, but like they're out of there. There's no basically they have no desire to stay. And we learn about that later on in the book. This book was out in the 2000s, so like I could give you all the spoilers. Let me know if you want me to do like a full breakdown of the book because I don't have any notes to do that with today. But the book follows a girl named Agnieszka, Nieszka for short. She is one of the 17-year-old girls who's up to be taken potentially by the dragon. The wizard isn't like an actual dragon, by the way. That's just his title because of the particular aspects of his magic. He's just a normal guy. So Agnieszka is in this group of girls, 17-year-olds. And there's a lot of talk about how basically families with girls who are in the year to be taken by the dragon, basically they kind of emotionally neglect these girls, because they don't want to be hurt when they're taken away and they never come home again. Or, they come home briefly and then they're off again. They don't stay home. So they kind of emotionally neglect their kids, basically, because they're afraid to be hurt, which is dumb in the first place. Like, okay, dumb. But in this particular year, there's a girl who stands out who is not Agnieszka. I forget her name. Like I said, let me know if you want a full rundown and I'll make sure I know their names. Oh, it's Kasia. Kasia. She's beautiful. She has just this something about her. And the girls that the dragon take always have something special about them. So Kasia is, trained up to be a wonderful cook, to be a good maid, to be diplomatic, know what to say in the right situations. So Cassie grows up like this. Agnieszka, on the other hand, her mom's not concerned she's going to be taken because everybody sees Cassie and they're like, Cassie is going to be the one who's taken. Agnieszka has this extreme propensity toward getting dirty. That's what's special about her. Is like, you give her 5 minutes and she'll have something spilled on her skirt. She's a very good, not good's the wrong word because that gives like Little Women vibes. She's, a normal girl, very normal. She just gets really dirty all the time. She does what, her parents ask and etc. And she's best friends with Kasia. A lot of people don't let their kids be friends with the girl who's going to be taken by the dragon. So Kasia doesn't have a lot of friends, but Agnieszka's mom is like, it's Agnieszka's problem if she decides to be hurt when Kasia never comes back, right? So Agnieszka and Kasia are best friends. So the day comes, the dragon comes, just basically steps out of thin air. All the girls are there looking their best, or, trying to look really bad so the dragon doesn't take them. But Agnieszka and Kasia are standing together. Agnieszka has made her best effort to look really good, even though everybody knows Kasia is going to be taken. And as you might assume, the dragon comes. He stops and looks specifically at Kasia, asks her name, stops and looks at Agnieszka, asks her name, is super irritated, and he basically puts a little ball of fire in his hand and he tells Agnieszka, take it. And she reaches out and she's able to just pick it up, which means she's a witch. She doesn't know that yet, though. She has no clue. She's just like, yeah, the dragon just asked me to do this weird thing, whatever. And so the dragon is super irritated because Kasia is, very competent and capable, and Agnieszka already has stuff on her skirt, right? No matter how hard she tries, she's already a mess, or a little bit of a mess. Things are starting to go awry with her outfit, in a very short period of time. So he's super irritated, and he's like, "Well, I'm taking Agnieszka." And she doesn't understand why, but he, of course, feels like he has to because there aren't that many kids with magic. And so, he's got to take her on as an apprentice. And we learn that a little bit later on because she's just really confused by the whole thing. Like he teleports her back to the tower and she's like, she's puking because she's never done that before, and there's nothing to clean up her vomit, so just to clean it up with her skirt, which already, anyway, it's like a whole thing, and you're like, wow, this dragon guy is literally the worst. Things transpire, and they have to fight the wood. Basically, Kasia gets taken by the wood, and Agnieszka goes to save her and succeeds in saving her and cleansing the corruption, which actually has never happened before. So, things go down. The wizard's like, what the heck? They try, and then, the prince hears of it, and his mom was taken by the queen was taken by the wood years and years and years ago. And so he's like, okay, well, now we got to go in the wood and get my mom. And everybody's like, your mom's been in the wood for 20 years. She's not going to be your mom anymore. But he's like, well, it succeeded for Kasia, and Kasia was in there for 2 days. Totally different story. So anyway, and then things go down and things get worse and the stakes get higher and whatever. And so Agnieszka and the dragon have to and Kasia have to save everybody. There is some romance in this book, and honestly, I could use a little bit more. Usually I'm the opposite. I'm like, if you have to save the world, you shouldn't be focusing on romance. But I think they did it just right now. Of course, there's an age gap, right? The wizard is 100 years old, but Agnieszka is also not going to age after a certain point because she's also a witch. I don't know why genetically that happens, but that's the sitch. They do the diddly do right before they think everything's gonna go to pot. And then it's just right back to saving the world. I could have used a little bit more romantic resolution, I think, overall. There isn't, they just have that one scene of them doing the diddly do, and it's very normal, very realistic. So it's not oh, he had a 12-inch dick, oh my gosh, kind of spice. Which is, I prefer not to have that. I know some of you like to read fantasy because of the spice, but I would prefer that it would be a realistic thing and not oh yay, I've never had sex and he has a 12-inch dick and that's literally the best thing ever. So I was pretty pleased with that, personally. What else is important about this? Yeah, overall, really good book, and you should all go read it. It was a quick read. Obviously, I read it on my day off. Just boom, all done. And I think I gotta go put my sheets in the dryer. See you guys later.